Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Brandon here. So we're going to be sailing out the aircraft carrier, the USS Langley. Now you can kind of see how carriers kind of developed. This one, the Langley, it was probably based off either a cruiser hull or like even a merchant ship hull, ocean liners. That's how a lot of aircraft carriers were first built. They weren't purpose built, they were kind of refits. In this case, we've got two groups of 6 torpedo bombers and one group of 6 fighters. They have been upgraded. So I'll show you what the stock looks like, actually. It looks like I cannot retroactively mount. But, alright, yes, I understand. No. We will go back. We will go back to the future. Alright, so here's the Langley. And, we actually want the Curtis FXCs. You know it's goodness. F6Cs. Dyslexia for the win. So we've got it upgraded. At first you only get one group of fighters and one group of torpedo bombers. Now we've got 3 different groups, and you can customize between 2 groups of fighters as we awkwardly pan every time we make a change, you know. So here we've got 2 groups of fighters, 1 group of torpedo bombers. I feel like if you want to play defensively, you want more groups of fighters, and if you want to play more offensively, you need more torpedo bombers. Now, that's just to say defensively against other aircraft carriers who also are using planes, and you want to use your fighter groups to protect certain key targets, maybe even yourself against another carrier attack. I myself, I'm going to go for a more attacking approach, right? So now let's take a look at the tech tree, because right now the Americans, the US Navy, are the only faction out of the 2. Well, there is this one Russian ship here, but we won't talk about that. So we've got carriers, right? We've got the Langley at tier 4, Independence at tier 5, Saipan at tier 6, Ranger at 7, Lexington at 8, and then we hop down to the Essex class aircraft carrier, topping us out at tier 10. The Japanese do not have carriers at this time in closed beta test, but they do have battleships, and the Americans don't. So it's kind of, you know, pick a tree depending on kind of what you went. I wanted to try out carriers because it's the most different style of gameplay. It's kind of a top-down RTS. So without further ado, let's go back to the port. We'll take one quick look at our beautiful Langley that's probably going to get wrecked, and let's hop into a battle. So here you can see kind of the player base of closed beta test right now. Most people are still below tier 4, with the highest numbers being, you know, tier 3 and below. So, but yeah, there's a decent amount of carriers popping out lately. And there are some people who, I've seen people up to like, what, tier 8? Destroyers are pretty popular for tier 8. The destroyers are pretty fun. You've got smoke screens. You can fire your own torpedoes. Pretty fast, pretty nimble ships. And then you've got the big lumbering aircraft carriers that are not heavily armed or armored, but we've got a decent amount of attack potential in the planes that we carry, and it's kind of fun being able to customize between the different layouts. So we've got 4 different Langley carriers. Now I'm not sure if the others are upgraded or not. We're just going to assume that. We've got a fair amount of battleships. Battleships are going to be the ships that I want to target because they're bigger, they're slower, and they're also heavier armed and armored. So they're going to be ideal candidates for torpedo attacks. So here is the traditional view, right, that you're used to playing with ships, but you're going to have a different view in carriers, and that is a top-down approach, right? So it's basically like an RTS. So I'm going to look over here. I'm going to click over here, move my carrier, and you can see there's a cooldown. This is my fighter group, and these are my 2 different torpedo bomber groups. So what we're going to do is I am going to be expecting enemy planes. So it looks like they just got their first fighter group out. I'm going to pull mine over here, try to find the enemy. And you can see the white, or right now, since I'm selected on group 2 on the minimap, you can see a green line showing where they're heading. If I press 1, you'll see, you know, the white line. Now I can launch torpedo bombers, and we've got, since I'm heading this way, I want my planes to be able to resupply, land, you know, and resupply as quick as is humanly possible. So we're getting our groups up in the air. You can see that it takes a certain amount of time. And just gonna get them out in the air and then pick it. So it looks like we've got some enemy fighters. And since they're all Langleys, we know what they're doing. Alright, so we've got enemy fighters. We've got 2 enemy fighter groups. Now, I'm not sure. Actually, I can imagine that's probably from both the carriers. So we're going to go engage them. We want to get some of these fighters. My ally opted for 2 fighters and probably 1 torpedo bomber. So there's a little destroyer. We're looking for the battleships. Where are they? There's a battleship just hanging out in the background. Cruisers over here. Some torpedo bombers going into play up north. Ooh, that battleship's gonna have a rough time. Alright. We shut down 1 enemy plane. Battleship's moving north. Cruiser down here. Nice job. So we just destroyed that enemy fighter group. So we've got a destroyer sneaking through there. I'm trying to find the battleships. You know what? But this is kind of cool. One of the key features when you're doing a torpedo bomb run, is that mine or is that the enemy's? Is going like this. Oh wait, that's a carrier. I'm going after that carrier, man. Yeah, actually, I'd rather hit the carrier than the battleship. I think that guy's going. Both of my torpedo groups are coming in. We're gonna do that. And we're gonna drop just tons of torpedoes. We're gonna drop what? See, look, it drops in groups of 6 right here. So here is a battleship. He may be AFK, but you're gonna get to see what happens from the torpedoes. And you gotta carefully orient, you know, which way you're gonna attack with your torpedoes. Now I've got 2 torpedo bomber groups. Alright, so I'm going to send that one. By pressing F, I'm going to send them back to base. And this is going to be actually interesting because I should be able to hit this battleship. If I can take out one of the enemy carriers, that's pretty huge. So torpedoes will be in the water momentarily, times 12, ladies and gentlemen. And look at this crisscross pattern. It's going to be very difficult to dodge this. But this is what happens when you scout an enemy carrier. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. 3 hits. I might get... Oh my gosh. And then is that one gonna hit? No. And then I got 2 on this guy. Oh, I wish that one would hit the tip. Oh, just the tip, just to see how it feels. Come on now. Alright. Okay, we're getting set upon by a few enemy fighters. These guys are landing. So at this point, what's really happened? We've done some serious damage to that Langley down here and done a fair amount of damage to this battleship who's AFK. Here's the other Langley down in the back there. And because I can see it because there's a friendly destroyer launching torpedoes as he goes very far out. I'm not really sure what that's about, but hey, we've got vision on an amazing carrier. So at this point, I think I want to move a little closer to the battle. There's a cruiser headed in this way. Yeah, I think we got this. So as long as I stay over here.
Autopilot mode enabled.
Alright, so group number 4, you can see the health bar on it. Got hit really, really hard. It looks like there's only 2 planes actually left out of 6. Number 3 is landing, and that's a full group. And the fighters are already on the deck, so there's going to be a 34-second cooldown. The fighters are actually ready to take off again. And I want to send them over to try to get more, you know, basically deal with the enemy. He just launched 2 more torpedo bomber groups. He just got missed by this destroyer. This destroyer is really going after this second one. Torpedoes coming out of the smoke screens. Smoke screens are something that destroyers are able to do. It's a pretty cool tactical element. And this guy's also got some, should have some anti-aircraft guns. Ooh, torpedoes in the water. So This guy is using these torpedoes. Oh, and look at that. Expertly net. This is why you don't really... Oh my gosh, this guy's boned. This guy just torpedo attacked. Oh, that was fantastic. This is kind of cool if your style of play is more, you know, RTS-like. So that cruiser's... I'm looking at... You have to really worry about, you know, am I, as a carrier, going to get wrecked? And I don't think so. I'm going to play a little more aggressively. This guy over here... Oh, man, but he's distracted by this destroyer. This destroyer, though. Whoever this guy was, you're the real MVP right now. Alright, so people are going down. We gotta launch attacks now. So we're gonna send them at this cruiser. And you know what? Is the other carrier? Yeah, the other carrier's down. That guy's pretty much dead. So this guy's gonna be a threat that may be around for a little bit.
Maintaining present course.
That's really strange. I think it's like anticipating where he's going to be. So I want to have a little bit of a crisscross pattern.
Airborne.
Standing by for instructions. Over.
And this destroyer, cruisers are lightly armored. They've got relative to destroyer, they're heavily armed, but they're lightly armored. And plus these destroyers have torpedoes. He has a pretty decent chance of missing all of those. Maybe that one might catch. Oh man. Yeah, he's going to get out of it. Cruisers are very nimble. That's why I decide to usually prefer to go after bigger targets like carriers and battleships because, you know, the torpedoes you use are going to be better served. You're going to get more. We've shot down 5 planes, 6 torpedo hits, and caused flooding 4 different times since torpedoes hit under the waterline, and they're pretty effective. So now this guy's got, what? My first group is right there. My second group is right there. Alright, so number 3 is going to be up there first. We're going to come at him this way, because he's slightly turning. Hopefully that works.
Group 3, approaching target.
Oh, I wanted to call number 4 off. Okay, good. Because he's going to be maneuvering. So I'm going to come at him a different way. Because he's going to be trying to maneuver to come in this way. Oh, this guy's torpedoes are coming in. We got 1 hit. Oh, see? He had to maneuver, and now he's going to get hit by possibly... It just looks like 1.
Engaging enemy.
So can we get the final hit on him? I don't know. Looks like these shells might finish him off. There it is. But you know what? We would have gotten in there. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is what? Like my second or third carrier battle gameplay. And it's really fun and pretty rewarding. Shot down 5 planes, 7 torpedo hits, 5 different floods caused. See how we did score-wise. We did decent. You know, middle of the table. Nothing too fancy, but gosh. This is just the Langley, ladies and gentlemen. The first aircraft carrier you can get. Detailed report. This is kind of fun. So we did 30,000 damage in 7 torpedo hits. We hit a battleship, a St. Louis cruiser, and then a Langley carrier. And I'm not sure what this one means. We don't really have anything lit up, so I'm not exactly sure what I did to that guy. But we gotta see how awesome torpedoes are, both from the destroyers and from the torpedo or the carrier-based torpedo bombers. So going back, it's kind of cool. Let's see. So the Langley converted from the Collier USS Jupiter at the Norfolk Naval Shipyard in 1922. Yeah, see, so it was a conversion. Now, I'm not sure what the Jupiter was, whether it be transport or cruiser. 9 small aircraft carriers. So this was Independence was a purpose-built carrier. And it was 1942, so there should be significant differences. And it's smaller. It's probably better armed. Let's take a look at it. So, you just saw... I understand it's not research. We're just taking a look. Oh man, and you're going to get dive bombers. So you're going to have fighters, torpedo bombers, and dive bombers. And those are the 3 main plane groups that you're going to have. There's some question about, you know, should the Japanese be given kamikaze fighters? I was at a press appointment with Wargaming in PAX East, and that question was raised. But you can see just how beautiful this carrier looks like compared to the Langley. You know, just all this girder superstructure right here. Just looks funny. It definitely looks like a refit. And you know what? Let's take a look at the Essex, because this thing's probably going to be... Oh, man. Yeah. And you've got fighters, torpedo bombers, and dive bombers, and there's a number of upgrades for the Essex right here. Look at that. You go from biplanes to monoplanes. Obviously, we're going to hit that transition a little bit earlier. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was just a bit of some carrier gameplay, my second or third battle. And you know what? I'm really enjoying carriers. I like how different it is. It's a different approach. It's kind of not as twitchy. You know, you don't have to have like the best reactions. You have to have much better forward planning though. I was in a battle. I was the only carrier, and I didn't note it. I didn't watch. I wasn't looking where my team went. And I went to a certain part of the map where I was rushed by 4 battleships, and the only guy over there with me was a friendly destroyer. Needless to say, I got wrecked. So it's all about that top-down RTS style of play, forward thinking, and some really rewarding torpedo bombers if you plan it right and choose the right targets. So, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Bear, and I thank y'all for watching. Make sure to pull the trigger on the like button, and let me know what you want to see me play next. You know, this is part of an interactive series, so let's see what you guys have to say, and I will see you guys soon.